Shabbat Shalom. Now we arrive to this portion, the title, Chayei Sarah. And Sarah lived. And then you will be surprised how many midrashim are built in this portion. And midrashim that sometimes they're beautiful, but sometimes they're unbelievable. To me, what sometimes worries me is when people cannot differentiate between what I call illustration with the truth. No? If, for example, in Judaism, we use a lot of mishlei. Mishleis are proverbs. No, that is the we give counsel through proverbs, and to make those proverbs take a very understanding, we do the mashal, and the mashal are what is called in our language parables, no, illustrations, and these illustrations help us to understand certain important principles that the Torah is trying to give us. But when we make the mashal, the word of God, and the principle, we get rid of it, that's it when we have problems. And what I am trying to is to bring to you just to understand that when a mashal, when a parable is taught, it's not that the parable what is important. What is important, what is talking about the principle that is behind. Now, here, for example, just starting this this portion, they say, by you, Chayei Sarah. And Sarah lived, and this time Sarah lived. And he say, he lived, he started 100 years, then 20 years, and then 7 years. And then our Midrashims, our sages, they tell us, when she was 100 years, she was as beautiful, as young as when she was 20. And when she was 20, she was as innocent as when she was 7 years. It's a beautiful picture. Okay? And let me tell you, sounds even credible. Why? Because Sarah had a child at the age of 90. And you can see that when she was going at that age from one place to another, Abraham Avinu needed to tell her, tell them that you are my sister, because she was so beautiful and everybody wanted to have her. That tell you how beautiful she was. Then we're going to see about Sarah, the mother, the first mother of Israel, of the future of Israel. Is very controversial in many ways, because we can see it as a very strong woman, or we can see it as a woman who was very behind. And that's hard to see it, but you are going to see in certain things about Sarah. But one of the things that's important, that I would like that you understand when I'm talking about relationships and communication, that's better. When Abraham Avinu left his land, he was 75. Then Sarah was 65. At 65, you already, as a woman, you have passed your years of having children. And she already realized that she's going with Abraham Avinu, and he had a very special task. The task was to share, to bring this only one God, the God of the universe, the Borei Olam, the Creator. And that there was the Creator of everything, and that was unify the whole humanity. Important, unify all humanity. And he had a task. And he followed this voice, this revelation, and he didn't know where he was going. Only the Creator said, go and get out of your home, your place, and take and follow me or follow this direction. And he kept going, but he didn't know where he was going to stop. He only walked and walked and walked. Can you imagine a wife like Sarah saying, "Hey, Abby, where are you going? You know, at least tell me what I need to take, what robe I need to wear." You know, and he's taking not only Sarah, but according to the Torah, he is taking all the crowd that he made. That is the word that is used in the Torah. He made a people. You know, he didn't create the people. But what is the idea that the Torah is telling us? That he was able to take a people who accepted or believed the way that he believed it. That there was only one God, the God of the universe, the Boreolam, the Creator. And these people were very faithful to that calling. That is a very important point that I need to make to all of us. Because sometimes we have this idea about that Israel is only by blood or by genes. But the greatest genes that the Creator has given to us are the spiritual genes. They are the strongest ones that hold us back. Because the beginning of all the people that Abraham Avinu counted, no one, with the exception of his nephew, Lot, was part of his family. Okay? Or had the same DNA that he had, or similar. Sarah was his half-sister, and has also the DNA. But there was nobody else. And Lot was not very successful. Then, in this story, I want that you see Sarah as a woman with a lot of courage to follow her husband to a great task with too much information and only based it on faith, on what her husband was telling her about what he has heard from the Boreolam. That takes you a great woman. And she was not weak, totally the contrary. She needed to be very strong. But at the same time, she had a special relationship with her husband. That is something that I share to young couples about the respect and reverence that she has for her husband. You see, in every relationship, no matter what, between husband and wife, there is a key here, mutual respect for each other. The husband is the protector, he cares for his wife. But the wife is what I call it, the foundation, the support of that husband. Of course, that today we are in a situation where feminism has totally destroyed this idea. Because now women are superior than men. Like we as men, we don't know that. You know, nobody needs to tell us. We know that women can be more intelligent than us. Women can be more capable than us. Women can do more things than us. We know that. But we have a purpose. We have a reason why we are men. Because he gave us, the Creator, the responsibility to be the protectors, with the supporters of this, what I would call it, mishpacha, the family and community and groups. Men were the protectors. That was the role of men. And the role of woman was the nurturing. Let me ask you this question. Today, we teach just the opposite. And we are changing the roles. And today, very gladly, people say, what's wrong with the roles? Now we can interchange the roles. And everybody happy. Now the man can be a woman, and the woman can be a man. It's okay. And this is a big problem that we are facing today. Because those who we believe in the Torah, those who believe in the scriptures, and we see what the principle that the Creator has given to us, lead us in one way, and the world is telling something totally different. Because the problem here, and I have mentioned this over and over again, that we cannot differentiate about the value of human beings is equal. For God, their value, all of us, we are valuable into His eye. But the equality is different. What I'm trying to tell you is we have the same value, but we are not equal. Because each one has a different function. And if we cannot accept that simple proposition, we are blind and we lack of logic. Here doesn't say that the woman cannot do jobs of men and men cannot do the jobs of women. What it means is that there is a purpose and there is a reason and there is a design why we are different. Because each one has a purpose. And when we're trying to break those things, the only thing that we are doing is we are going against nature. And this is something that we need to think about it. But let me go back to Sarah and Abraham Avinu. Sarah and Abraham Avinu, they demonstrated in the long years of marriage that there was compassion, there was love, and there was totally given to each other. One simple case that is sometimes difficult to understand it, but I want to make this very clear. The love of Sarah for Abraham Avinu. Look at the love of Sarah for Abraham Avinu. She wanted to have a child. And she realized that she was not going to be able to give a child. And she chose her best maid that she can have. Before the problem with Hagar, it's very obvious that Hagar was very trusted by Sarah. Because Sarah wouldn't give it to Abraham Avinu, a woman that she didn't trust her. And she had it very close to her. I mean, they were very good companions. And they say, I'm going to give you the best companion that I have, the helper, for you to have a child. And they have a child. But what happened after that? Look at the love of Sarah for her husband. To give it, this woman, her maid, in order that he can fulfill his greatest desire to have a child. And they have a child called Ishmael. And many times I have said this, and you need to understand. Sometimes when we get ahead of the plans of the Creator, we can create problems. But his desire was good, was not evil. She wanted to please her husband. And that tells you the degree of love that she had for him and the respect that he had for him. But with the time something happened, Hagar started feeling, now I am like Sarah, or we are in the same level. And she started and saw Abraham Avinu that he liked the boy, Ishmael, and then start creating situations that after Sarah had Isaac, what happened? She realized that that was not good for them still together. And it was better to leave and to let Hagar go away with Ishmael. And this is another point that about relationships. In Judaism, divorce is not evil. Divorce sometimes is a necessary thing. When you have a relationship with a person but is not getting anywhere, or is detrimental, is really bad, and is very destructive, it's better to separate, because in that way neither of the two suffer, and also if they have children, the children can have peace instead to have a volcanic relationship, destructive relationship. I'm hoping that they can find another partner that they will be better for them. Because we sometimes commit mistakes. We sometimes choose the wrong person, thinking that is the right in the moment, but that happens. And then the Creator gave us the opportunity about the separation. We are going to see, before we saw how Abraham Avinu separated from his nephew, Lot. To avoid what? Conflict. And separation doesn't mean that we are going to hate each other the rest of our life, only we are going to live apart. And I have met many, believe me, no, in my job as marriage counselor, I have met many divorced people that now they get along better than when they were married to each other. They are even good friends. And to me, I was surprised, But why? Because they realized that the relationship that they had was not the right one. And nobody's pointing the finger over them. This is the idea about our God is the God of the beginning again. And Sarah continued that, and she made every effort to make it right. Even after, this situation, they went to Philistine, Abimelech again. I say again because first they went to Egypt, and the second time. And then Sarah again say, I am your sister. Why? Why the sacrifice of Sarah twice? Because she loves Abraham Avinu, protected her husband. And these are qualities that we need to find it and to look at as a strong and courageous woman, as the mother of Israel. And we see those wonderful qualities. That she was a very nice and always jovial person? Of course not. That she had her character? Of course that she had a character. Okay? And when the Creator said to Abraham Avinu, listen to her and do what she says. Okay. You need to, us as men, we need to be smart. We need to listen our wives. Because they have a lot of wisdom too. And we need to hear that. Well, immediately after that here in this parasha is going to come another relationship. Sarah and Abraham are dying, but comes a new generation. Isaac and Rivka. No? Isaac and Rivka. And can you question yourself and ask this question to yourself? Why Abraham Avinu didn't allow, for example, that Isaac will marry one of the girls that became the daughters of the people who came with him? All of them, all those, they believe like him, they grew up with him, and they had the values that he had already taught. Why he needed to send his employee? By the way, many sages are going to tell you that was Eliezer. The Torah doesn't say that he was Eliezer. By the way, you need to be careful. This is an assumption. We always keep assumptions. you know. But here, sends his servant or employee to look for wife on the land that he came from. He never said to his employer, go to the house of my relatives. We say, go to the land where I come from and send it there. And say, don't take Isaac, and do not, if it doesn't work, come back, don't worry, but don't move Isaac from here. He was protecting Isaac. The question that will be among ourselves is, why he needs to send his servant so far away to find a mate for Isaac, his son? Isaac was the son of the promise. And one of the midrashes they tell you, by the way, only going back, is that Sarah died after she heard that Isaac was killed by Abraham Avinu. You know, when Sarah died was 127. Then how old was Isaac? 37. And I give you these numbers because then you later on, supposedly 3 years later after the death of Sarah, no, he was 40. That's the reason that comes to 37. And the 3 years because he was 40 years old when he met Rivka, the past 3 years. Now, supposedly she died of heart attack, thinking that Isaac was killed. Then came back Abraham Avinu and feel really bad, and he cried. He cried for Sarah. What is telling you about his relationship with Sarah? He really cared for Sarah. He loved Sarah. Sarah was very special and dear for him. Then he sent these men to look for a wife. And that's why it needs to be as far as he could send him. You know? Why? Think about this. He could have a girl from his own group that had the same principle and same values. But he needed to send it very far away. And please don't tell me that he sent it there because the Canaanites were pagans. And to marry a Canaanite person was going to take it then to pagan practices. Because very far away that he was sending these men they were also pagans. And Rivka was a pagan. You know, she didn't believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. She was a sister with Laban, daughter of Bethuel, granddaughter of Nahor. And here comes something very interesting that we have been discussing later on about. I come from a group of people that the parentage, how do you call it, the lineage of relatives is based on levels, no? First, second, and third level. In North America, it's linear. You know, you go first cousin, second cousin, third cousin, fourth cousin, fifth cousin, seventh cousin. You know, for us, no. For us, it's all is by we call it what do we call it? Generational. It's generational. Okay. For example, if I have a cousin, okay, and my cousin has a child, that child is my niece or nephew. But for Americans, English or Canadian, whatever, there is a second cousin or third cousin. No. Cousin is one generation. Nephews and nieces, and third generation. The first generation are parents. The other generation before the parents are the grandparents. You know, grandparents, parents, aunts and uncles, no, and then you can the cousins, because are all the same generation, and then comes the nieces and nephews, and then the grandchildren, all goes down in that direction. Do you know that Rivka was in relationship, according to my understanding, Laban and Rivka were nephew and niece of Isaac. Okay? And Abraham Avinu was a grandpa. Generation. Now, this is a relationship that is made, and Rivka comes and becomes the wife of Isaac. According to some Midrashim, they say that Rivka, when she was found, she was 3 years old. And like I told you, when we look at this Midrashim, we cannot take it in literal. What they wanted to tell you or to give you is that what they say that she was 3 years old when she met Isaac, because she was innocent. Okay? But the truth of the matter was she was not 3 years old. How she was going to take the camels and we want to give water and to talk like an adult and say, yes, I go with them to get married. But you know what is the sad part? There are people who believe it. That's real. And then they say that Isaac wait. When she met Rivka, wait 20 years. That was the reason that Rivka couldn't have children, because she was too young. And then they wait 20 years. When Isaac was 60 years, that's when she got pregnant. Then she was 23. Okay, that's the stories. But what is trying to tell us? The real meaning of this is that they wait long time because she was like Sarah. She was having problems to have children. And the story is telling us something. A very special person is coming when there's nothing normal. When the child cannot come in a normal way and needs to come in a very special way. This is a symbol that this child is going to play a very important role in the Torah. It's very special. A child who comes from a difficult burden, we call it that way, is because this child is going to have something special. The relationship between Rivka and Isaac was very different than the one that was between Abraham and Sarah. But one thing that we see in common is about that Rivka was a very strong woman again. And the mothers of Israel are portrayed one after the other as very strong women. You're going to see later on, Rachel was not an easy person. His sister, Leah, she was very quiet, but Rachel, she was a strong person. And look at how she was. And we can see over and over again the strong women in the mothers of Israel. What the Torah is trying to tell us? The importance of the women in the formation of Israel. And Israel needed to have a basic, a strong foundation. And look at this. Many people tell us that the foundation of a home comes through the father. But I can assure you something that's very important. The father can be the spiritual leader. But if the woman is not as spiritual or more spiritual than the man, the home doesn't go anywhere. It's a failure. The woman is the one that holds the home. And I say to the young people, when you choose a partner, I say to the woman, look at the young men about their values and their principles. And I say to the young men, look at the woman about their values and their principles. Because if you see somebody that is only all cosmetics and nothing inside, it's worth nothing. Because the external beauty disappears very soon. What it holds is the values and principles that the person has inside that last forever. Today we live in a society that is all based on image. We're in a society that in the look. And we forget that what is the most important thing. You know how you look is what you have inside. I say to the girls, don't worry about how pretty you are externally, but I worry about how valuable you are from inside out, because your true beauty comes from inside out. And the same thing I say to the young men, your wholeness, your character as a man doesn't come because you are macho man. Your character comes from inside, about principles and values that you have, and respect and reverence to your wife. We are living here examples that the Torah is trying to give us. And these two strong women, look at two strong women, Sarah and Rivka. They're going to show us that even that they're stronger sometimes than the men are more kinder and more softer, especially Isaac. And Rivka was very strong. She was under him, and women don't like this term, under. But what hurt that she decided to do it, because she could destroy Isaac in any second. She made that decision. Why? Because she always loved and respects him. I say that in many times. Listen this carefully. Men. The woman can take a lot from men. But when the woman loses respect for the man, the relationship is over. Then, you as men, you need to always be careful how you treat your wife, and always be careful how you relate with them. We are going to commit many mistakes, but always be strong enough to stand up and acknowledge your mistakes and try to do better. And when you do something wrong, instead to justify it, accept it and make it right. Doesn't mean that we are goody-goody. But what it means is that in every relationship, there needs to be both sides, and both sides need to respect each other. And here ended with this. In order to have a good relationship, you need to have a clear communication. Even when you respect each other, but there is no a clear communication, there are problems. And we are going to see later on with Rivka and Isaac. When, ladies, don't blame men when they don't do what supposedly you want that they need to do. Until you are clear, what do you want? Men cannot, and it is impossible for them to read your mind. You as a woman, because you have the extra sense, that you have intuition, and you have this and you have that, and you can hear a baby crying 20 miles away, you know, men cannot do that. And don't be disappointed that men don't understand you what you want until you tell them what you want. And you get upset with the men because they didn't do what you wanted. The first thing that you need to ask the question, did I ask him to do it? Or supposedly he needs to know. Don't waste your time. Amen. Be always tune up to your wife. And sometimes the only way that I know to tune up is the change of mood. When you see your, you say, being smart, say, here there is something wrong. I smell something that is not right. And then you go very carefully, take your distance, but very carefully, and you say, honey, something wrong? You know, and then in that moment she's going to explode, kill you, and then tell you what's wrong. You know, and then you, because at least you know what it is. Okay? Okay. Thank you. You took the word from my mouth, but it's true. Don't ever believe your wife when they say, oh, nothing, everything is okay. That's not true. Okay? What happens is they don't want to tell you because they are upset that you cannot know or understand them. And I'm going to give you a word of hope. You will never, ever, you're going to know your wife completely. And say hope because in that field you don't feel frustrated. It's impossible to know her. They know you better than you think. And I'm going to demonstrate to you in several. The men come to the house and start, can the wife? And the men start crashing. They say, how do you know that I wanted that? Huh? They know everything. They always want to be ahead of you. Okay? And they tell you, and because there's intuition. We don't have it. Sorry to tell you. We lost it. When they divide in two, they gave it the best to them. Okay? And they left us only with the half part. Then, here is what is important. Communication. And I ended with this. A true communication is not two ways. A true communication, 3 ways. And please practice it in your life, with anybody, but especially with your spouses. You say something like this. You tell something to your spouse, wait that your spouse repeats what she or he understood. And then the person who gave it say yes or no. This is what I say. And you always want to have a wonderful communication because the Creator wants for us to have a good relationship among ourselves. And Sarah and Rivka show us, even in such a difficult times that they went through, it's amazing how they were able to survive so many years in very difficult environment and trying to create, to form a generation who will guide us to the true God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Blessed be his name. Shabbat Shalom.